It's an emotional time in my life for sure. I've been having a lot of cries lately. Just all around just being emotional. I think it just shows how much I care.
Why would Justin Bieber, one of the world's most talked about superstars, break his silence now, after years of rumors, decades of hits, and a fiercely guarded personal life? It isn't just another calculated PR move, it's a moment that could reshape the headlines, refocus our attention on unseen victims, and even recalibrate how we think about power in Hollywood.
It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn. And
picture this, a teenager thrust into global stardom, escorted into mansions by rap legends, and filmed hanging out in lavish suites. Years later, as that rap legend stands accused of running a criminal empire built on coercion and sex trafficking, the teenage star finally issues a public statement. What does he say? What does he leave unsaid? And why does it matter? In this video, we'll peel back the carefully crafted language of Bieber's message, explore the timing down to the hour it was released, and trace how social media exploded in the hours that followed. You'll see why celebrities' words, or their silence, can tilt public opinion, influence jurors, and even empower survivors. Stick around, because by the end, you'll not only know what Bieber said and why he said it, you'll understand how fame, power, and justice collide when the glitter fades. But first, let's set the stage with the seismic trial that thrust Sean Diddy Combs from chart-topping magnate to a defendant in Manhattan federal court. To grasp why Bieber's voice carries weight, we need to understand the scope of the charges against Diddy, and why this trial is unlike any other in music history. Sean Diddy Combs built an empire on beats, rhymes, and business savvy. From chart-topping records with Bad Boy Records to multi-million-dollar ventures in vodka and apparel, he was, until very recently, untouchable. Yet in April 2025, the U.S. Attorney's Office in Manhattan unsealed an indictment charging Combs with racketeering, sex trafficking by force and fraud, coercion, and related crimes. The government alleges he operated a decades-long conspiracy codenamed Operation Get Home Safe, which in reality funneled young men and women into exploitative freak-off performances and private white parties, all under threat of violence or financial ruin for those who refused. Prosecutors say hidden cameras recorded these events, generating blackmail material to ensure silence. Civil suits filed by former associates and models have spilled even more allegations into the public record: extortion, rape, and secret sex tapes involving high-profile figures. Opening statements in mid-May 2025 laid bare thousands of text messages, financial ledgers, and witness accounts, some graphic enough to make even seasoned journalists squirm. Over the coming weeks, we'll hear from Cassandra Ventura, Don Richardson, and possibly other celebrity acquaintances, each testimony peeling back layers of secrecy. Now that a music mogul faces life in prison, the trial has become a referendum on how power can shield predators, and how long it takes for survivors to find their voice. As the world watches, every tweet, TikTok, and YouTube clip is scrutinized for clues, especially any that might point to other famous faces. And that brings us back to a certain pop star's unexpected statement. But before we examine Bieber's precise words, let's rewind over a decade to the moment fans first wondered what really happened during those 48 hours with Diddy. In late 2009, a fresh-faced Justin Bieber uploaded a 15-minute YouTube clip titled 48 Hours with Diddy. He was 15, eyes wide with awe, following Combs through LA parties, hotel suites, and studio sessions. What first felt like a dream-come-true documentary soon took on an awkward edge. Bieber giggled nervously as Combs handed him expensive watches and designer clothes. In one shot, Bieber sits cross-legged on a velvet couch, bouncing with excitement, as Combs leans in too close, laughing and patting him on the shoulder. In another, they emerge from a hidden door, the camera capturing a glimpse of a private lounge rumored to host exclusive freak-off gatherings, performances later alleged to involve coercion, and cameras in hidden corners. At the time, the world simply saw a teenage sensation rubbing shoulders with a music titan, a prism of mentorship, success, and bright lights. Fast forward to 2025, and those same clips have become evidence points in online investigations. Fans on TikTok spliced the footage into reaction videos, adding captions like "Grooming 101?" and "Why was Justin so quiet?" Even without definitive proof, the videos carry a sinister subtext that fuels speculation about grooming, a crime that often hides behind innocuous presentations of mentorship. Critics argue Bieber looked uncomfortable, drained of agency, while defenders point out the cameras rolling for a YouTube special. No formal allegations were ever filed against Combs in connection to Bieber back then, but in the court of public opinion. Perception can be as powerful as proof. That uneasy tension set the stage for a long-suppressed voice. It was that tension, a sense of unfinished business, that prompted Bieber's camp to finally speak out. On May 15, 2025, at precisely 3:02 p.m. Eastern, TMZ published a terse statement from Justin Bieber's representatives. It read, "Although Justin is not among Sean Combs' victims, there are individuals who were genuinely harmed by him." Shifting focus away from this reality detracts from the justice these victims rightfully deserve. At first glance, it's a simple denial. But beneath the surface lies a strategic balancing act. First, Bieber rejects any personal victimization, drawing a firm line between himself and the allegations. That shields him from questions about potential involvement or knowledge. Second, he explicitly acknowledges that harm occurred, implicitly validating the accusers without naming them. This phrasing achieves several goals. It distances him ethically from Combs' wrongdoing, it aligns him publicly with survivors, and it forestalls future subpoenas by preemptively making clear he isn't a victim. The choice to mention individuals who were genuinely harmed rather than people who might have been harmed is significant. It signals empathy, not skepticism. Notice what he didn't say. There's no suggestion he was put in danger, no assertion that rumors are false, no corporate-style boilerplate. Instead, it's concise, humane, and pointedly timed. In a media landscape where half-truths spread faster than verified facts, Bieber's team delivered a statement that is both protective and poignant, an elegant example of modern crisis management. Yet timing can be everything in crisis PR, so why release these words exactly at week one's end? Press releases often land on slow news days. Not this one. Bieber's statement dropped immediately after week one of Combs' trial, just as Cassandra Ventura concluded days of tear-choked testimony detailing hidden cameras, forced encounters, and emotional coercion. The prosecution had no time to redirect focus. Media outlets were still engrossed in daily courtroom recaps. By stepping in at this precise moment, Bieber's camp effectively inserted their narrative between horror-filled headlines and the next witness's expected revelations. It's a classic PR tactic: hijack the conversation at its peak to control the momentum. But there's more. Sources tell us that Bieber was never approached for testimony, but rumors swirled that prosecutors might try to call him as a surprise witness to corroborate grooming allegations. By publicly stating he is not a victim, Bieber's team undercut any speculation of his involvement, making it far less likely prosecutors would waste precious trial time subpoenaing him. At the same time, acknowledging others' suffering allowed him to avoid the backlash that would follow a flat denial of all wrongdoing. The result? He seizes agency over his own story while subtly aligning with the prosecution's moral stance. In the strategic chess match between defense, prosecution, and public sentiment, timing often proves decisive. And in this case, Bieber's intervention may have checked the defense's gambit before it even unfolded. Of course, legal tactics only tell half the story. Public reaction can veer wildly off script. Moments after TMZ broke Bieber's statement, social media ignited. On TikTok, users chopped the 48 Hours With Diddy footage into short loops, overlaying text like "Notice how Justin flinches?" and grooming red flags everywhere. YouTube reaction channels published countdowns of the 10 most creepy Bieber Diddy moments, garnering millions of views within hours. Twitter exploded with hashtags like #BieberSpeaks and #DiddyTrial, trends that spawned armchair investigators scouring comment sections for hidden clues. Meanwhile, a doctored video circulated claiming Bieber had confessed to lawyers he would testify against Combs, a rumor debunked by multiple fact-checkers within the day. Yet not before stoking further frenzy. In the endless scroll of online discourse, nuance often evaporates. A sympathetic statement can be reframed as a tacit confession. A simple denial becomes proof of guilt through the anyone but them mindset. Fans split into tribes. Team Bieber insisted he was a naive teen caught in a glamorous trap, while Justice for Survivors argued his silence for so many years equated to complicity. Neutral observers found themselves lost in a hall of mirrors, where every new clip or meme threatened to reshape the narrative. In a world where attention is currency, Bieber's brief statement bought him a moment in the spotlight, but it also exposed him to renewed scrutiny. Proving that in today's media ecosystem, anyone can become both judge and jury. Amid all this noise, how do we separate proven fact from wild speculation? Rumors suggest that Combs' lavish white parties and secretive freak-off events concealed hidden cameras and coercion. Reports claim civil lawsuits reference uncirculated sex tapes featuring other celebrities. Yet, here's what we know for certain. Combs faces federal charges of racketeering, sex trafficking by force and fraud, and related conspiracies. Cassandra Ventura, a former model, has testified on the stand about being lured, drugged, and recording devices she only discovered later. Don Richardson, a key prosecution witness, is set to corroborate parts of her story. Beyond that, many allegations remain untested in court. Civil complaints allege misconduct involving minors. But those claims have not led to criminal indictments. Importantly, Justin Bieber is not accused of being a victim or conspirator. His representatives have denied any personal harm. When discussing rumors, we must say rumors suggest or reports claim, never present unverified gossip as fact. That doesn't mean speculation lacks value. It drives dialogue around power imbalances and the systems that enable abuse. But it does mean we owe it to survivors and to the audience to clarify what's under oath, what's in an indictment, and what remains hearsay. This distinction matters because false or exaggerated claims can overshadow genuine testimony, muddying the quest for accountability. In the end, the trial's outcome will hinge on evidence, financial records, phone logs, and sworn statements, not on viral TikToks. Yet public pressure can influence prosecutorial priorities and juror perceptions, underscoring the delicate balance between social discourse and due process. So, after dissecting every clip, every word, and every rumor, what can we take away from Bieber's intervention? Justin Bieber's carefully calibrated statement does more than deny personal victimization. It reframes the conversation, demanding that our focus return to the real victims whose voices have been overshadowed by celebrity gossip. When a megastar speaks, millions listen. By explicitly acknowledging harm and refusing to be drawn into sleazy rumor-mongering, Bieber positions himself as an ally, however belated. His intervention is a reminder that in high-profile cases, silence can be interpreted as consent, and speaking out, even with a brief, 30-word statement, can shift the narrative from scandal to solidarity. As viewers, our responsibility is twofold. First, to scrutinize evidence rather than eyeball footage marinated in sensational captions. And second, to amplify verified survivor accounts rather than chase viral distractions. Fame may shield the powerful, but it can also lend urgency to voices that would otherwise go unheard. Whether or not the trial ends in conviction, the real measure of justice will be how survivors are treated, how industries reform, and whether celebrities use their platforms to demand accountability, not just for themselves, but for everyone harmed behind closed doors. So next time a rumor goes viral, pause and ask, is this substantiated? Who are the survivors? And how can we ensure that in chasing the next viral moment, we don't lose sight of the human stories at the heart of the scandal? If this deep dive helped you cut through the noise, smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Drop your thoughts below. Do you think Bieber's statement will influence the trial or the court of public opinion? And don't forget to tune in every Tuesday and Friday for Fractured Fame and the Backlash Breakdown, where we keep peeling back the layers behind the headlines.